Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So then we can start, sir.
Sure.
Hello.
Uh,
Yes, participants
so I
are there.
go ahead, Dr. Pankaj.
Yeah, 1 minute, sir. So I welcome Mr. Jeevan Saini, sir, co-founder and CEO of Sophocles Innovations Labs Private Limited. And he will discuss about the blockchain. Sir,
Uh,
I am handing
yeah.
over the session to Jeevan, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Start.
Thank you, Dr. Pankaj. And good afternoon to everybody. I hope I'm audible. In case you have an issue and bandwidth issues are there, please do let me know through the moderator, and I may switch off my camera so that to get a better bandwidth. Otherwise, as I've been introduced, my name is Jeevan Saini. I'm currently CEO of Sophocles Innovation Labs Private Limited, which is very much into blockchain education space and also in development space, whereby we are into developing blockchain-based applications and products. With me, I bring to the table approximately 30 years of experience. I'm a technologist by education, and after my master's in computer science, I started working with banks. And of my entire career, I've spent close to about 25 to 26 years working with the banking financial industry across the world, not just in India, but across the world. And since 2017, I have been on my own. And blockchain to a large extent and IoT to a smaller extent has been my forte for last 2 years. Now, with that, the topic of the today for me is blockchain and development domain. Now, as I shared with you that I am a technologist, first batch MCA from GNU. So technology over the years, maybe my entire life has been my forte. And when a couple of years back, I decided to do things on my own, came out from a very cushy country head level job in a multinational bank. I decided to do something absolutely new, kind of challenge for so many years, just to prove to myself that yes, I still have those gray cells up here where I can actually pick up something new. And when it was new, it was on both fronts. One, I didn't want to do a job, so I said, okay, I'm going to become an entrepreneur at this late stage of life. I'm also an entrepreneur with a technology that is just picking up. So I kind of did a deep dive into blockchain. And as they said it, if pandemic did not happen this year, things would have been much better. But so be it. I think the entire journey has been kind of slowed down or delayed by 8 or 9 months. But I think we are getting there. Now, let me just get on with the topic with that small brief.
Yes, sir. Sir, please. Can we start our session? Actually, it's practice session going on.
Sorry?
It's practice session going on. Can we hand over you to the mic? Can we hand over the mic to you for the participants?
I thought I was already. Yeah, please go ahead.
No,
I thought
yeah.
Anjana, I'm already there.
Okay. Yeah, within second, we start our session. Within seconds, sir.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You may start now.
Yes,
Thank you.
Sanjana. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeevan Saini. Currently, I am CEO of Sophocles Innovation Lab Private Limited, organization which is completely into emerging technology education space, as well as into development of blockchain products and solutions. Personally, I have more than 30 years of industry experience. I'm a technologist by education, passed out in late 80s, did my master's in computer application, first batch GNU. And since then, I have been working largely almost about 25, 26 years in banks across the world. So multinational banks, some local banks, and thanks to that, I have picked up huge amount of knowledge on the domain side as well. About 3 years back, that is way back in 2017, I decided to hang my boots vis-a-vis a job after I was a country head for banking division, technology side again, and then decided to, challenge myself on two fronts. One, I'm not going to do a job and become an entrepreneur at this age. And second was, I didn't want to do anything mundane that I've been doing for so many years and wanted to do something new. And blockchain IoT was a standard answer that came to me. And since last 2 years, largely into blockchain and to a small extent into IoT has been my forte, has been my work. With that, also, I like to state upfront that the topic that we are discussing today, which I am sharing with you, is blockchain in training and development domain. Myself being a technologist, I just want to set the expectations that whenever people talk about blockchain, companies, people, professors, students, you name anybody, and they say that, we should do this kind of a course, we should do that kind of a course. My take is, and I'll explain it why it is so, my take is that blockchain is not a straightforward training as the case may be with any database or any other programming language. Why is it so? I think that is the topic, and I'll discuss it as we go along. With that, I'll just move on. So it's a paradigm shift. I just want to relate the blockchain revolution or emerging technology revolution to the kind that we saw in our lifetime when internet was introduced. About 20 years back, 2 decades, 15, 20 years back. We didn't know when the internet was introduced that we will see economies like Amazon, economies like Uber, Ola, so on and so forth. But today, one cannot imagine their life without internet. So it is that kind of a paradigm shift, that kind of a revolution. My take is that this decade belongs to blockchain and IoT, 2020s, right up to 2030. And if not bigger, blockchain is a similar as to that of internet. That's my assessment. That is the assessment of Gartner. I'll share it with you. So how I have divided this particular webinar. This is like need for blockchain skills in the decade of 20s. So I'm going to be focusing on the education and training aspects only, as well as I will also give you certain applications of blockchain in the education space. I'm not going to diverge from that. How blockchain learning is different from picking up a programming language skill or a database management skill. I've already shared that. And then holistic approach to blockchain education. I'll also, as I said, I'll with you some aspects of blockchain that can be applied to education from a solution product perspective. I should be done with my presentation in about 45 minutes to an hour, and post definitely open up for any questions. Now, in case you have any questions before that, I think Anjana is our host. You can put it on chat, and I'm sure she will be able to stop me so that I can answer that. So this is what industry is saying. Blockchain will fundamentally change the society we live in. The potential for disruption is huge. We believe blockchain is an extraordinarily important phenomenon. Now, these are all some big guys and all who obviously have been following the adoption, the expansion of blockchain since about 2015, 2016. Though the Bitcoin, which is first application of blockchain, did come up sometime in 2009, but blockchain as a technology, as a phenomena, I think started picking up sometime in 2015 onwards and all, and then it has become kind of a reach 2017 onwards. This is what Gartner says, that the business value add on blockchain will grow slightly more than 176 billion by 2025. In 2019, it was slightly less than 20 billion. So from 2019, 20 billion, it is supposed to touch 176 billion in 2025 and a whopping 3.1 trillion by 2030. Not only that, when we look at the infrastructure, and that is where it starts becoming complex, 91% of the global IT infrastructure will be on blockchain by 2030. So it's not just the solution, the product, the programming aspect of it. There is a whole lot of infrastructure that is required for a blockchain solution to work. And that entire infrastructure, 91% will be blockchain based. Not only that, the demand for blockchain talent is growing at over 40% per quarter. Now, I had put this particular slide set together about 2 months back. And at that point, there were only about 50,000 skilled resources who are industry ready globally. Now, according to even LinkedIn, blockchain is the topmost of the 10 most employable skills in demand. The number 50,000 is very, very important. I'm not counting anybody who does a few-week course out of some particular institute on blockchain, and then they are industry ready. And you will know in the further slides why am I not counting those in 50,000, because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of deep knowledge, deep study for somebody to become a blockchain programmer, not even a blockchain expert, but a blockchain programmer. And we boast in our company, we have almost about 40 blockchain engineers, and that's our strength. And it takes us to pick up a 2 to 3 year experienced person who is already aware of databases, already aware of few programming languages, not new to developing solutions. It takes us 6 months to make that engineer with that kind of an experience blockchain ready. 2018 and 19 has been a tipping point, and over 50 countries have already embarked on initiatives, including India, to integrate blockchains in their economies and to develop a strong holistic blockchain ecosystem. Now, you know that in NEP 2020, many of you must have heard, government is pushing for introducing emerging technologies, courses in schools and colleges. And blockchain is one of the big aspects there. I'll come to that a little bit later. Growth trajectory of blockchain. So why we are looking at bringing in blockchain into the education system in a big way and ensure that our students who are passing out from engineering colleges, MCAs and all are industry ready. This has been my experience, and I'm not going to mince my word. I come from the industry. Whenever we go out there and interview students from various colleges, we find them enthusiastic, and the only thing that we had them is on their attitude, because we know for sure, and we also test them out, that out of the university, they are not industry ready. The kind of courses, the kind of knowledge that is imparted in the universities today is like an age old, and it is not conducive to what industry demands. That's where people like us come into picture, who are not only connected with the industry on the one side, are also trying to bring in the right kind of an education to the engineering students or students who are interested in this kind of education. Coming back to the growth, investment, it was a modest 900 million in 2017, and it is approximately 4.3 billion in 2020 and growing. Business value add, we have already discussed that. It's a cumulative annual growth of almost 68% until 2025. And in absolute terms, it will be $179 billion. World Economic Survey suggested that 10% of global GDP will be stored in blockchain by 2027. Central bank digital currency, there is a move. 90 countries are actively working on central bank digital currency, with Sweden and Canada taking the lead. So yes, Bitcoin today is not supported, definitely is banned in India, but it has opened the thought process. It has brought in so many concepts to the fore that there are 19 countries that are actively looking at CBDC. Closer home in India, Niti Aayog is working on application of blockchain to resolve business and governance process inefficiencies, establish India as a vibrant blockchain ecosystem by focusing on regulatory and policy aspects, creation of national infrastructure India chain for deployment of blockchain solutions. In fact, we as a company have participated in contributing some white papers to the India chain project or program. Blockchain protocols, since the advent of Bitcoin in 2009, blockchain protocols have grown in numbers both on permission and permissionless domains. Few examples are public Bitcoin, Ethereum, Algorand, so on and so forth. And on private side, you have in front of you the facilitator. There are 4 or 5 facilitators: Zeev, Matic, BigchainDB, Marlin, so on and so forth. Now, I request all the participants to just make note of something that we can discuss during QA as the later part of this. We must all be aware of something called DevOps. It's the in thing, makes life easy, takes the application from development to production and subsequent maintenance. There is a process to be followed. There is a certain framework that to be followed. My question to you all is, the DevOps that is applicable to the legacy applications today, will the same DevOps be applicable to a blockchain-based application? Or I'm going to now change the word. I'm not going to use the word application. I'm going to say blockchain network. This is the question I'm putting to you. I would like to have a 5 to 10 minute discussion about around it later after I'm done. That is the current DevOps framework, whatever language, whatever environment, can that be used with a blockchain network as it is? That's my question to you. There is a blockchain project by IIT Kanpur, empowering India to become a leader in blockchain technology. We are connected with IIT Kanpur, and I'll explain to you how. That is why we are answering this DevOps question. Continuing with the growth trajectory. Despite the growth potential discussed, the blockchain technology faced barriers with mainstream adoption. And why is it so? Like in my experience of last 2 years, whichever corporation, whichever CIO, whichever CEO I have spoken to, they all have heard about blockchain. They all want to adopt blockchain, but they have no idea how they can bring in blockchain without disrupting their current set of processes, their current set of business, and how to minimize the cost of that transformation. There is bound to be a cost. So how do they look at the entire return on investment? And they are struggling with that. And that is where I think government can help people like us who have, number of years of experience, have both domain and technology experience, and have spent time on the technologies like blockchain, IoT, and ML can help the CIOs and CEOs to come up with the right kind of transformation strategy where they are moving from legacy onto the blockchain. The trained resources, there is a huge dearth of trained resources who are actually able to discuss the aspects not of just technology, but the entire transformation and return on investment. How can it be useful to a business? There aren't many. Then you need hardcore architects and all, designers and architects who, once given a business problem, are able to design a solution around it. You don't have that many architects around. Industry lacks proper medium and expertise to hire and acquire. Let's say a bank, and I used to be working before I started on my own. I used to work with Royal Bank of Scotland. I've worked with them for almost 7.5 years. Now, when I'm talking to, and therefore I know everybody, right from India head to some senior CIOs and all, not just in India, but also in the UK. When I talk to them, the biggest problem is that they want to set up a complete blockchain department within their organization. But how do they hire? Somebody walks up to them and says, I'm a blockchain guy. They don't have people internally to even interview them. What do they ask them? How do they figure out whether the person is just, after reading for a few weeks and all is saying that I'm a blockchain guy, or they actually know? So there comes a need for people like us who can actually develop hackathons and all, and it's done in the partnership with university. So with the people like, SKIT or other universities, colleges, you can actually, the industry can come. And in hackathon is a good way to figure out who is a good talent. And certified resources, like we are a blockchain company, we work with almost 4 or 5 protocols on blockchain. And therefore, we have enough expertise internally to figure out who is a good blockchain resource or not. It requires a specialized infrastructure. You remember 91% of the infrastructure will be blockchain. To start with, it is expensive and complex. So therefore, there is an initial investment, and therefore, building a business case around return on investment becomes very, very important. So just training students, just training engineers on blockchain is not sufficient, because if industry is not going to adopt it, or it's going to take time, what are those blockchain experts going to do? Because they will not get an opportunity to develop programs or solutions in blockchain. They can't do that. So therefore, people like us, universities in collaboration with universities, have to start pushing the industry, government to adopt blockchain as a technology medium for their solutions. And then you start working towards a complete, and I will use that word, ecosystem. We are on one side of the ecosystem, you are training the students, you are building the workforce, and on the other side of the ecosystem, you are actually helping to adopt so that there is enough intake of these engineers who are learning blockchain. Moving on, lack of understanding on how BCT can benefit a business and a domain. I've already touched upon that. Lack of proper training infrastructure at universities and engineering colleges. Now, the training aspect of Sophocles Innovation Labs, or I will call it in short Sophocles Labs. The training aspect of this includes a lab, a blockchain lab. On cloud means a student using their laptop can actually connect into an environment, a blockchain environment, and can practice whatever they learn in theory. And why is that important? I think next couple of slides is going to make it important, make it clear as to why having that kind of a lab is important. And does anybody have that kind of a lab? Does universities have those labs? No, they don't have. because they may be having a simple computer lab and all, but blockchain is a different ballgame. You need to have a complete network. So why am I emphasizing on that? One thing is very clear. When we call, and therefore at some point I had switched over from a blockchain application to blockchain network. When a blockchain-based solution is going to be developed and implemented, it will be across the organizations and not within one single organization. That is going to be the nature of a blockchain network. Now, when we start bringing different organizations together onto a same solution, each organization may have a different technology infrastructure. Therefore, a blockchain solution has to be technology agnostic, environment agnostic, leave it at that. That should be enough for trigger the interest as to what am I saying and why is it so. You have my mail ID. You can definitely ask any number of questions, not just today, but later on as well, once the lecture is over, and I'll be happy to all the answers. This is the scope, impact, and industry-wise application of blockchain. Now, the size of the circle denotes how much it is already penetrated into that particular domain. If you look at it, and I'm going to stop here for 30 seconds, none of the business domains are untouched. That means blockchain is going to really penetrate into each and every aspect of our day-to-day life, be financial services, be government, education, cybersecurity, legal, healthcare, real estate, so on and so forth. That is why also I said blockchain is going to be similar, if not bigger, a revolution as was the internet. There will come a time in about 7, 8 years, 10 years when, and I think we are going to see it in our lifetime, when we can't imagine our life without a blockchain or an IoT based or a combined emerging technology application that is helping us out. I'll just give you an example, because yesterday I took a lecture with the university where I was just trying to showcase IoT and blockchain, how it is a powerful tool in our hand. Many of us must be wearing those smart watches that, Apple has come out with, and now many more, Fitbits they are called. Now, Apple has already built the application within their Fitbit watch, which picks up the person's vital organ statistics, pulse rate, heartbeat, so on and so forth, pressure and all. And based on an algorithm, if it finds that something is not normal, every human is a different, so there is a certain a range with which it works. If suppose something is out of the normal, it is able to alert the person's doctor and all immediately. And it is already happening now. Not only that, once it alerts the the doctor, it also broadcasts the location of the supposedly the patient. And it starts activating the entire network for that person so that the relatives are informed, the doctor is informed, and necessary precautionary measures are taken. Now, if as fundamental as my health and my life saving is going to be in the hands of these emerging technologies, I repeat, in about 7 to 10 years, most of us will be using these technologies in our day-to-day life. I'm sure many of you would remember that Amitabh Bachchan's ad on Lloyd AC, where he's trying to operate his AC from airport. A very simplistic, simple example of a IoT, and blockchain is not part of that particular solution, but very soon it will be. I'm not going to go deeper into why blockchain is required, but it will be needed as we start getting more and more complex. I'll move on. Acquiring blockchain skills. Now, that was the most important aspect of our lecture. Blockchain learning is different from picking up a programming language skill or database management skill that I have already shared, because blockchain is amalgamation of multiple technologies. It is a concept than a mere technology. And what are those multiple technologies? Guess what? We have been actually using them for many, many years already. It is required both on technical side and business side. Today, can a non-technology guy say that I don't know internet? Or can they live without understanding the basic operations of an internet? No, they cannot. Same thing is going to happen as we move along. There is going to be a clear-cut technical side, architects, designers, developers. There is going to be a business side to it where one has to be able to make a business decision. Do I really need blockchain technology? Do I need blockchain with AI ML? Do I need blockchain with IoT, or do I need a mixture of all? And they should be able to build a business case around using these technologies to come out with a business solution. So there is a learning or understanding of these skills both on technical side and business side. On technical side, as I said, developers, designer, architects. On business side, to blockchain or not, what is the return? And if you do use blockchain, how is the governance going to change? Humongous topic for us to figure out, to read about, and to master, because the entire governance, the auditing within a organization or group of organizations, the entire risk department, everything is going to change. So that's why decentralized governance is a very important topic. Now let's first look at what is needed to be a good blockchain engineer. So I'm sharing the technical aspects. Look at how much to understand. Understand one or more blockchain protocols like Ethereum, Ledger Fabric, Sawtooth, Arctic Cobra, etc. Depending upon the business use, you will have to pick up one of these protocols to develop your solution. You should also be understanding one or more languages like C, C++, Java, JavaScript, so on and so forth. Now, the beauty of this is, barring Solidity in Python, Python is already heavily in use. Solidity is very specific to blockchain. All other languages are used today. In fact, C was when I studied. I still remember Carnegie's book where I picked up my C and did C programming for almost about 2 years of my first 2 years of my career. It was C and it was COBOL. So C++, then Java, JavaScript, they are all being used today also. Understand the usage of tools like Block Explorer, MetaMask, Etherscan, Mist, Caliper, etc. I'm sure you're all aware of that. Data structures, linked list, acyclic graphs, hash table, Hyperledger, etc. We need to understand the knowledge of these data structures, how do they form. Blockchain, I'm sure you have heard, is a chain of blocks, and it is nothing but a linked list. The way that entire linked list is built, then the way the entire block is built, and then the chain of blocks is built, there lies that chain specific algorithms, blockchain specific fundamentals. But linked list has been there for many, many years, decades. I remember doing programming in Lisp and if I remember Prolog. So that was during my education days when I was doing my master's in computer science. And that is nothing but linked list. So it's been there for more than 30 years now. Have understanding of basic programming concepts like OOPS, multi-threading, socket programming, etc. One should understand why encryption and security is needed. And what is SHA, Secured Hash Algorithms? And these algorithms have been there around for almost 30 odd years. What is private and public key, etc. Now, for financial domain, people understand private and public key because that is used in something called SWIFT. All of us use banking. All of us must have used our IFSC codes. Now, IFSC codes came into being first when the SWIFT, which was an international way of transferring funds between banks, was established. And IFSC code was given to each bank, each branch. And the way that entire security works is based on the private and public key. In that case, a private and a public key is between the banks. Moving forward, Bitcoin, private and public key is between the entities that are there on that network. They could be individuals, they could be organizations, they could be representative of organizations. So one has to understand how these technologies work. And of course, understand concepts of blockchain like what is distributed ledger technology, DLT, what is consensus mechanism, why it is needed, what is immutability, and how do you bring in immutability onto the blockchain database, what are smart contracts, how do you develop them, what are distributed applications, and what are blockchain classifications. Now, to my mind, if anybody is not going into the deeper aspects of all this, does not have a way to practice what they learn in theory, they cannot become a blockchain engineer. And that is where a collaboration between a university like yours and a company like ours is very, very important. A lab, a blockchain lab becomes extremely important. For the business guys, let's take a look. They need to have a conceptual knowledge of all that is needed to be a good blockchain engineer. Like, let me just go back up. They may want to know technology, but they need to understand what is encryption and security. They need to understand what is a data structure, what is immutability, consensus, etc. So they need to know these concepts, not technology-wise, but conceptually. They need to understand token economics, because everything that will move on a blockchain will move on a token. It will move, it has to have a certain, because let me go back. What was internet? It was exchange of information. What is blockchain? It is going to use the same internet protocol that is being used today in a different way, of course, with a different security setup, with a different bandwidth requirement, so on and so forth. But it is the same internet protocol. So what is the difference? In blockchain, you're going to be exchanging value. And value can only be exchanged today in the form of currency. But currency can't move around. So what moves is tokens. And there's a huge subject. Token economics is a huge subject. In fact, if I am not wrong, tomorrow, one of my partners is actually going to take this topic of token economics and tokenization from a blockchain perspective. What is the incentive structure? There are people specifically in a public blockchain, or for that matter, even in a private blockchain. Why would somebody join a network? So there has to be an incentive structure. There has to be a gain out of that particular network for doing something. So what are those incentive structures? A business guy needs to understand. They should be able to assess a use case. And they have to have a deep business domain knowledge, both on a business side and operational processes. I'll just give you an example, because we are working on that. And I've worked on the legacy application of it in multiple aspects. Many of us know that Shell is one of the largest petroleum organization in the world, petro organization. They pick up their crude from Saudi Arabia. Shell is a Dutch company, and Saudi Arabia is Saudi Aramco. And each tanker costs a few $1 billion. Today, when the tanker is filled up and it is shipped to Netherlands, where it is downloaded or emptied out for refining and all, that is when the entire invoicing process kicks in. We are talking of few $billion stuck in transit, takes somewhere closer to a few weeks, very seldom, very seldom in days. It can never happen because for a tanker to move from Saudi Arabia to Netherlands, it will take time. Then there are some checks, so on and so forth. So you are talking of few billions, one tanker stuck in transit and all for few weeks. And we all know that economy is about movement of money. Faster the money moves, faster the benefits are realized. Just imagine Saudi Arabia, at a point they are pumping out the crude from a well. There are sensors that are authenticated and security of blockchain is implemented there. That means nothing can be tampered. The data is immediately transferred. So you know at the point of origination as to how much crude has been pumped. Similarly, how much crude has been pumped into the tanker, there are sensors. Before the tanker moves out, Shell knows in Netherlands that this tanker meant for them has so much of crude. And therefore, invoicing process, as simple as that, can kick in right away. You have reduced the movement of billions of dollars from weeks to few days. At times, maybe just about a day or less than a day. This is where the emerging technologies, blockchain, IoT and all, even AI/ML is going to be beneficial. As a business guy, one has to understand that. So it becomes very important for our budding MBA students also to have blockchain as a subject in their course curriculum. I'll move on. Additionally, it is important to keep up with the pace of development in blockchain space. Across the board, new protocols are being launched, continuous improvement in throughput and scalability, huge body of work on interoperability. This is what we do. This is purely from our organization perspective. On the left-hand side, you will see we have blockchain architects, engineers, and domain experts. Like me, I have expertise on financial and insurance domain and broadcasting. We have people who have worked in defense industry, people who have worked in manufacturing, and they bring in those domain knowledge, and they all are technologists. We provide three specific things: training, blockchain lab, and industry placement. I am not going to dwell too much time on this. What we are doing is we are working with universities, colleges, corporates, government, and we also provide incubation facility. We have already signed up with 2 universities in India, and we have signed up with 1 university in Colombia, South America. So the best part is, let's say there are students who already have fantastic ideas and all, but they have absolutely no way with us how to start. We will provide incubation facility to them, and they can bring in their idea. We will give them mentorship and all, and they can develop their idea with us. So that is one important thing that I think is lacking in the industry today, especially in India, where students who have a lot of ideas and all are not able to find the right kind of development environment where they are able to, take that idea from, take that particular solution from idea to execution. STPI, government is trying through various other modes, but I think university and the industry at large have to collaborate and bring that out. IITs are trying to do it, but I'm sorry to say, I have not seen too much traction where an idea from a student becomes actually a marketable solution. I haven't seen much of that. This is again kind of, the previous slide explained slightly in a different way. When we are working with universities, we take control of the course material. We keep it with us. We develop it because we are connected with the industry. You see, we are connected with Hyperledger Fabric, Soto, Digital SH, Ethereum, IBM, Intel. We are their partners. Therefore, whatever changes are happening in the industry, we are able to reflect that in the course content. So we develop the entire course content, curriculum and all, and we share it with the university. We obviously provide industry exposure, and that is needed. We do that. I'm sure you, when you are partnering with somebody to provide blockchain training, or for that matter, emerging technology training, you need to make sure that the partner is bringing these concepts to the table. They're able to provide a lab. We provide a blockchain lab on cloud, enabling students to develop, deploy, and maintain blockchain applications. And we partner with other companies in blockchain ecosystem. I'm just an example. I said at the start that there is a certain aspect or certain approach to a blockchain training and education, and I've covered that. Why it is complex, what is needed, why a partnership for universities is important to collaborate with the industry. I'm just giving you one solution in the education space that we are working with. We have already developed it, but obviously it needs a lot of enhancement. In the case of CBSE, 10th and 12th, I've given that statistics. For us, it should not be difficult to extrapolate it pan-India, and not just to the schools and all, but to the universities and colleges as well. If you just look at two certificates of a student, 10th and 12th certificate, in 2019, we had approximately 3 million students passing out just from CBSE. That means each put together, you would require more than 10 million mark sheets and school living certificate. We all know that there is a lot of fraud happening in terms of issuing of fake mark sheets, issuing of school living certificates, so on and so forth. And it happens year-on-year basis. And it's not new. When I was in college, I saw that happening in my college and all, and it is happening today as well. If the application is implemented and it's a blockchain application, the issuance of just these two certificates are done on blockchain, it actually solves a lot of problems. One, it solves your problem of fake. Because you remember I used the word immutability. Any data that goes into a blockchain database, which is also known as distributed ledger technology, cannot be tampered with. That is how you design it. It just cannot be changed, cannot be tampered. So therefore, if CBSE is issuing the certificate not printed, but on a blockchain application, then they cannot be changed. Second, for a student, they don't have to bother about maintaining those certificates, paper certificates for their life. I have a full file of all my credentials, and obviously I have to make sure that it's always kept safe. I don't need to do that anymore because I will have a QR code. I can carry the QR code anywhere, and I can just share that QR code. Not just the certificate is available, it is authenticated immediately on the net. So even verification is taken care of. So the entire cycle of generation of that certificate and verification of that certificate in the later stage of a life of a student is taken care of. What are we talking? 10 million credentials year on year for just 2 certificates. There is a humongous amount of industry out there for just the student credentials. Upskilling, degrees, specific degrees, college and universities, all that can be made blockchain based. You may ask, Government of India is already giving a digital locker. Now, digital locker is slightly different technology as it uses a PKI method, and there you always require a third party to authenticate. And if for any reason the third party is not available, you have a problem. Blockchain does not require that dependency. It is between the issuer and the user. The party that issues the certificate and for the person to whom that has been issued, they too are responsible for that. So you're actually taking one huge intermediary out. Let me just go to the next one.
Sir?
This is my last slide. I think yeah, sure. Anjana, you were saying something?
Yes, one of our participants, Ashish Taneja, want to know about your centers for T&D across India, course offered and fees about. It is in chat box.
So I am sharing what are we offering, right now, and about the centers across India and the fee, I'm discussing. So this is what we offer. We have, as I said, 3 streams. COE and Lab, Center of Excellence and Lab, we set it up, right? And the lab can be set up, you can use our lab, which is on Amazon Cloud, or you can set up a lab on your own infrastructure, university infrastructure, or for that matter, corporate infrastructure. Again, that infrastructure can be on a cloud or can be in a data center based. So we help set up that. From a training perspective, we have designed courses both for school and colleges, both engineering students as well as non-engineering students. And there are many flavors of it. There is an introductory course, you have a 1, 2, 3, 5-day workshops. All those flavors are available. And when we work with a corporate client, we actually tailor our workshop to their requirement, specifically around the use case. Because it makes sense while you're working with the corporate client to ask them, what is it that you want to convert into blockchains so that we can show you benefits? As far as college and students are concerned, we emphasize more on technology aspects, usage aspects, and we put a lot of emphasis and effort on bringing the lab to use. The best thing about the lab is that on the other side, you have blockchain engineers and architects available for you to ask any questions. As I said in the previous slide, that we are enhancing our product on credential management. So that is where we also issue our own certificates from. The last point on the bottom is develop, implement SaaS-based infrastructure. I think that I've already shared with you in the previous slide. Now, vis-a-vis centers, we have only one center. We are actually a development organization based out of Noida. We are working with the universities and we are basically providing courses and workshops in collaboration with those universities. With the corporate world, we go on our own brand name, Sophocles, and basically provide those trainings and workshops ourselves. As I said, this year was going to be a change maker for us. Unfortunately, due to pandemic, things have slowed down a bit. We formed our company, registered our company in February this year. And since then, we started delivering in-person course in a university in Ghaziabad, but had to move it to online because everything moved online. So right now, we have gained a huge amount of expertise in terms of delivering our courses online. And we are now going a step further where we are now recording for a video-based training courses. Now, I hope I have answered your question. I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name. Who asked the question? The name?
Sir, Ashish Juneja.
Ashish, yeah. Ashish, I believe I have answered your question. In terms of offering, it is on the screen. At the center, we are doing it completely online as of this point. And as a center means we have an office in Bombay, but we are not using it for training. We will like to collaborate with universities and we like to deliver the courses and all from their premises. So those are going to be our model. We are moving into VBTs, video-based trainings. As far as the cost is concerned, we can work in multiple models. With the university, our first project, we worked on a lump sum mode. With the second one, we are working on per student basis. Typically, we offer 6 months to a year of lab as part of the course. That's what we do. We are experts in both Ethereum and Hyperledger Sawtooth. We are developing a course on Decoder and Fabric. I think it will be in the other order. We'll first complete Fabric and then we'll move to Articoda. I hope I have answered your question. I think that I'm almost, this is like just my pitch to the students I do, that, we started, like I started my career as a software developer. Then things moved as web mobile developers. But today, I think development is all tool-based. So if you know a tool, if you know how to use it, I'm sure you can develop a code. What is lacking is the domain knowledge. And therefore, you cannot develop, or people who are coming out of university are not able to even fathom what a solution should look like. So what we need, and this is what I tell all the students that I talk to, that start building your mindset attitude as a solution provider. And when you actually wear a hat of a solution provider, you have to understand the domain, you have to understand the processes, and then you have to understand how to apply your technology expertise to that. So we are moving now to solution and production, a product engineer, and not a developer anymore. And what you need for that is innovation, ideating, and thinking. You have to be creative. With that, I end. I'm open to questions.
Thank you, sir. Any participants have any question, please raise your hand. If any participants have any question, please raise your hands. Write your question in chat box.
I think I'll ask my first question to all the participants. I did ask whether the current set of DevOps framework and all, will it apply to a blockchain solution? Will anybody like to engage with me in a small 5-minute discussion on that? After saying yes or no.
Actually, sir, we are not able to unmute all the participants.
Okay. So they can put it in chat. That's okay.
Yes,
they can put it in
sir.
chat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure.
And you can help me in terms of name and who has said yes or who has said no. I'm absolutely fine with that.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
We have good half an hour, so why not? I'm sure there will be many, many questions. There should be.
Participants, please write your question in chat box. Participants, you may write your question or raise your hands.
Well, let me, can I stop sharing so that I can see the chat myself? I'll just stop sharing in case somebody wants to,
sure,
yeah, go back to the presentation. I'll bring it again. Now, I said that blockchain is a network, and in a typical network, there will be multiple organizations participating. I am from the finance background, so let me just take a supply chain trade finance kind of a example, export-import. Let's say SKIT wants to import IBM mainframe from IBM in US. And let's say that there is no IBM India and the machine is going to come directly from US. Look at the number of participants that will be involved in transaction, in that particular transaction. SKIT importer, IBM exporter, IBM US exporter. SKIT will work with the bank because you will need to open a letter of credit, so on and so forth. That bank, 99.99% will be India based. That bank may have a branch or not in US. So therefore, they will be working with the correspondent bank in US. Similarly, IBM will be working with the bank in US who may or may not have a branch in India. So they will be working with the correspondent bank in India. So you have 4 banks, and this is, yes, there are generally more in such complex transaction, but let's assume the banks involved. So 4 banks, an importer and exporter, so 6 entities. Then comes the customs of US and customs of India. So minimum 2 customs, so 8. If suppose the transit happens through some middle point, let's say Dutch port or Dubai port and all, then the customs of that country also gets involved. So, but we'll leave that out. Then you will have shippers, transporters, packers, so on and so forth. Not to mention, you will have regulators of US and regulators of India involved. We are talking minimum 10 to 12, maybe more entities that are involved in this particular transaction. Going forward, blockchain will help, and there's a huge amount of work. In fact, we are working with the company and we are building a trade finance solution where all these people will actually be able to participate on a trade finance blockchain-based network and do this transaction. What does it do? One, the benefit is it will be able to take a lot of intermediaries out. Second, the entire requirement of regulatory aspects, customs and all is actually available on the system itself, and they can take any reports they want. You don't have to interact with them at all because they're part of the network. My question was on DevOps side. All these entities will have their own technology infrastructure, will have their own internal blockchain protocol and all that they're comfortable with. Therefore, one trade finance network that has to function for this particular transaction will have multiple technologies, multiple environments across continents involved. Your normal DevOps is not going to work. You need a certain tools at your hand that will be enabled, that will enable all entities to create their something called nodes. You must have heard nodes in the terms of Bitcoin. So they will have to, that tool has to help them create nodes on the same network, but in their own protocol, on their own technology, in their own cloud. Somebody might be working on Amazon cloud, somebody might be working on IBM cloud, somebody might be working on Microsoft cloud, or they may have their own personal cloud. Somebody might be working on Hyperledger Fabric, Sawtooth, or Articoda. They have their own protocol. And somebody is comfortable with Java, somebody is comfortable with some other technology. But mind it, for this transaction, they are working on a single blockchain network. So how do you manage that? You need a different set of tools to allow each and every participant to continue to work in their environment, not change that, yet participate in a common blockchain network. I think I brought in a word called ZWVE. Zeev is a flagship product of our organization, and there are only 2 or 3 products like that in the market across the world today, which allows, it is not a blockchain product, but it allows you to create a blockchain network agnostically, cloud agnostic, protocol agnostic. I think I'll leave it at that. Questions, please.
One question in chat box from Dheeraj sir. Could you please share some educational resource to dive deeper in that blockchain technology as per development concerns?
Sorry, so could you share some educational resources to dive deeper into blockchain technology? Well, see again, all this Hyperledger Sawtooth, Hyperledger Fabric, Ethereum, they all have their own .org sites, and their entire toolkit solution set is available there. In fact, I would use the word solution set. I will say the toolkit is available, but for somebody to do a deep dive and understand, that is going to take some effort. So Dheeraj, I hope I've answered that question for you. I know Arthikoda, Ripple. Ripple is basically RippleNet, and Ripple is for payments and all. So Arthikoda, Ripple, Fabric, Sawtooth, Ethereum, all of them have a huge presence on the internet, and they are sharing their toolkits, etc., and all, and tips, everything on their websites. So you can pick it up from there. Blockchain, somebody has asked me, blockchain is a concept, can be implemented in any language. Is it, sir? See, blockchain is a concept, and yes, you can develop it using Java, you can develop it using .NET. Smart contract, which is nothing but the codification of business logic, can be developed using JavaScript, can be developed using .NET, or there are certain very specific languages like Solidity and all that have been developed to make it easy. But you are absolutely right, it can be developed in any language. On top of the smart contract, you will need a consensus mechanism, you will need a couple of other things. You need to understand those concepts. Is there any relationship in linked list and blockchain? Both are synonym. Blockchain is nothing but a linked list. Take a detailed look at distributed ledger technology. DLT and blockchain, actually blockchain, the core, if I can use that word, the backbone is DLT. How you build the distributed ledger technology is what blockchain is all about. Understand ledger, I'm using the word ledger. What is ledger? Ledger is a list of transactions with the entire history of it. And there comes the immutability. You cannot delete a transaction. In fact, you cannot even modify it. Therefore, let's say by mistake, something wrong has gone into it, into a database. Can you correct it? No. You will have to put in a new transaction, append a new transaction with the correct data. So that's why it is called a registry. It is a linked list of transaction after transaction after transaction. A block comprises of certain transactions. So then you link blocks, and the entire history is made. Even a mistake is there, who did it, how it happened, and what was the corrected transaction. So the next will follow the correct transaction. Somebody asked me, okay, Samay, this was just you. Yes, you can do it in JavaScript. Absolutely no issues. Dheeraj asked about deeper into blockchain. I think I've answered. As per development concern, see again, I'm now 57 years old. And if I can become an expert, okay, I do not know programming, that is beyond me. Like I know C, C++, and I've done that during my heydays, but today I can't do programming myself. I have team members available. There are programmers, but I can design and architect a solution. That I have. So therefore, the answer is the concern for a developer is going to be how to bring in the security aspects that are demanded for a blockchain solution. So therefore, you have to understand public-private key concept. You have to understand how to implement it. What are those secured hash algorithms? How do you implement them using Java? You have to understand that. You have to understand what is a consensus mechanism, proof of concept, and there are others. What are those concepts? What are those algorithms? how do we implement those algorithms to arrive at consensus? Because that is how you authenticate a transaction. First of all, that is how you authenticate a user. And then subsequently you authenticate a transaction. So what is consensus mechanism? Can that be done in Java? Yes, it can be done in Java. Any more questions, please?
Thank you, sir. Anyone have any more questions? Participants? Can anyone have more queries?
This is my mail ID. I think, Anjana, you will have it already. jiva.saini@.com. You can definitely write to me. This is what I have shared with everyone. You can also share it. In case you're interested in knowing more, getting deeper, I will be more than happy to do that. Because the word ecosystem will continue to echo with us. We need to train the students, make them industry ready. And on the other side, we need to make sure that the industry is ready to absorb them. There are enough projects by government, by industry, so that the workforce is being accommodated there.
Thank you so much, sir, for your excellent coverage and your time. Thank you so much, sir.
It's a pleasure for me as well. I hope I'm able to trigger that interest in you all, in all the participants, so that they can actually do a deep dive themselves. And as I said, feel free to contact me anytime.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. All the participants, as sir already shared his mail ID, you may connect with him with the mail, and we will resume our session tomorrow 10:30 a.m. Detail will be shared with you all soon. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, and I'll leave the event now. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.